Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk, Real Life, Real Estate. I am Gibby Eagle with Maxim Realtors. I am a native to Southwest Florida. If you haven't been watching our other videos, I've been in real estate for just about 10 years, and I love studying the market, love working with first-time home buyers. I love educating. And yeah, if you have any questions, we like to get questions through our email at Real Talk, Real Life, Real Estate at gmail.com, so we can help answer them on our shows. But I will let Alex introduce herself to you.
Yes, hi. I am Alexandra King with NRL Mortgage. I am your local lender here in Estero, Florida, in Coconut Point. I have been in the industry since 2020. So, like Gibby, I am very, very interested in studying the market and helping first time home buyers, especially those people who don't know where to start or don't think that they qualify. Those are usually my favorite types of clients to work with because it's amazing the opportunities that you actually could qualify for if we actually just sat down and had a conversation.
Yeah, a lot of people I feel like are afraid to do that.
Exactly. And we were actually just discussing that. So we thought it'd be a wonderful topic for today's podcast.
Yeah, so we understand that this market is a little bit intimidating for a lot of people. I mean, especially for the younger generations, people in their early 20s, it is terrifying. I mean, to see where home prices have gone, and so many people just assume I can't afford it, I have to keep renting. But what I'm seeing people paying for rent right now, $2,400, $2,500. I mean, you more than likely could get a mortgage payment that's around that or below. So it's just it hurts me to see so many people just think I'm never going to be able to own a home. So
Yeah.
I was on Facebook earlier, and this mom was kind of just reaching out to try to see if anybody could help her son. He's 20 years old and he's paying $2,500 a month for rent. And for me, I'm
By
just like,
himself?
yeah. So for me,
Woo!
my head just immediately goes like you more than likely you could possibly afford a mortgage, or you could get qualified. So I just had wrote on there, like, look into buying. I mean, right now you're paying someone else's mortgage and you're putting money down the drain when you could potentially have your own home and know that you have a safe place, that you don't have to worry about next year when your lease is up, how much more is my rent going to go up now. At least when you're owning your home,
Yeah.
if it does go up a little bit because of insurance or something, like you have that security of you have that house.
Speaking of security, I mean, not for nothing, but who's to say that the person that you're renting from is not going to sell that property at some point, especially if you're doing like a private rental,
Yeah.
meaning, going through an actual person who's your landlord that owns that property. I'm not talking about, those
like apartment complexes
yeah, those are
popping up on every
different.
corner.
Right. Those are different. And obviously you're renting through an entity that manages that.
Yes.
And that's where I've seen the most exponential increases in rent.
Oh yeah.
For sure. But also I had personal friends that have gone through exactly what I just described, renting from a person, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, I know your rent is up. Well, it is
technically.
Your lease is up in 3 months, and I just want to let you know I'm selling the property." And you're like, "What? I need to be out of this place?" And they're like, "Yeah, actually you do, and we're going to start showing it in about a month and a half." Just things like that are just very unsettling.
And two, I think in a lot of leases, like the landlord can even put in there, if it says if they decide to sell, you have to be, they only have to give you 30-day notice to be out.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
So it's like you're, thinking, oh, everything's going smoothly, and all of a sudden you have to go find something else. You have to come up again with that first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, whatever.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I just had commented on this post and was just like, that's a lot of money. Like, luckily when I bought, my mortgage is not nearly that much, but it just was when I bought. So, but anyway, so I just said, I'd be happy to chat with him. No strings attached. I just like to educate, and it sucks when I see so many people thinking it's not possible, but they just need to be in the know and understand, or maybe just understand, like, hey, this isn't the best time for you right now. There's a few things we need to work on, but let's make a blueprint and we'll have this goal, set by X day or whatever.
Exactly.
So, and that's where, like, Alex comes in, where it could be, hey, you know what, you have a few things you need to work on. Let's create this blueprint for yourself and let's set a goal, and then we'll get there. But With that being said, I just, there was a lot of backlash to me on that post because the younger generation was like, oh, you've had it handed to you. And, when you grew up or you went to school, you had it much easier than we did. And, just the cost of living,
How
cost everything. I'm
old
like,
do they think we
I
are?
know. And she even called me an old woman. I'm like, I'm 34, girl. So I called her a little girl. But anyways, I'm like, listen here, little girl. I paid my way through college. I worked full time, went to school full time. It took me 7 years to graduate college because I was working,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I was working bartending to pay my bills, when I got my real estate license, whatever I made in real estate, I put into a savings account and made my way out of bartending and
Yeah,
was able to do it. But like, I feel like so many people just, I hate to say it, but a lot of people, they're in that like self pity, just like,
complacency.
oh, and just, but instead of sulking in it, like just ask for help and see if it's possible.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel there's like a lot of misinformation,
Yeah.
and I am a true believer in who you surround yourself with is
Hmm.
who you become. And so if these young kids are surrounding themselves by a bunch of other people that are not talking to actual professionals in the industry, that are
Yeah.
listening to mainstream media, that
Yeah.
are reading and learning off of TikTok with people who are not professionals in the industry, they're creating narratives that are not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Especially, at least I can speak for the state of Florida. There are plenty of people that did not think that they could afford homes that I have helped and I have worked with. Just because it's a no immediately, it doesn't mean it's a no forever. It's a not right now.
Yeah.
It's not a no, you're never going to buy a house. It's like you said, let's
Hmm.
figure out how to do this.
And that's the biggest thing. Like, it's, you have to be in the know. Like what benefit are you doing for yourself not understanding or not wanting to learn more about the possibilities that are out there? And that's where we started talking about how we can make it more affordable for buyers and
Mm-hmm.
especially first time home buyers. Alex has a bunch of, assistance programs and loan programs that can benefit. And then when it comes to me, I'm able to negotiate certain things, within the contract.
Yeah.
So we'll dive into that. I'll let her talk about,
Yeah.
these programs that she can offer, and then I can talk a little bit about how I can help also make it more affordable to buy as well.
Yeah. And I mean, between the two of us, it's like we tag team it and
Mm-hmm.
it's very little out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So at least I have found that I think the biggest hang up that people have it that I've worked with is that they do not have enough money for all of the down payment and all of the closing costs. And in some people's mind, because they don't have everything saved up, that means they don't qualify.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what these down payment assistance programs are for. They're made for people who do have good credit. I mean, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking like a 640 or better, that have minimal debt, that have worked to pay things down, and that have steady income. Obviously, each income is going to vary depending on what you do for a living, but you have to actually have a full-time job
Mm-hmm.
to work 35 hours a week to be able to qualify for these programs. But that's standard. I mean, I
Yeah.
think a lot of us, have decent credit. We work full time. I mean, we just don't have the money in the bank.
Yeah.
So these down payment assistance programs, depending on which one we do, can give you up to $10,000 of assistance.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're buying a smaller house or maybe a condo, that could cover a majority of the down payment. And Gibby can negotiate seller concessions to
Mm-hmm.
help you with the remaining closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not even have to come out of pocket
Yeah.
to purchase a home.
Mm-hmm.
So there are these programs that are out there, and I know I have found that a lot of people think that they're gimmicky.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
Yeah, and I'm glad that's why you wanted to highlight, because I've even heard people are like, "Oh, it's a
Yeah.
scam," and
It's
and
not.
I don't know better either.
Yes, it's not a scam. I mean, these are legitimate programs that are in place to help people get from point A to point B through the state of Florida. So
Mm-hmm.
Florida is literally, the state is giving you this money.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same concept as the Hometown Hero program. There are different types. I mean, there's some programs where you are going to have a small monthly payment, where you are going to have to pay on the money that you are borrowing. But there's others that you get $10,000 and that just sits on the property for 30 years and it never amortizes and you don't have to pay unless you go to sell or refinance.
Mm-hmm.
So there are options out there. And I'd also like to highlight, for those of you that maybe don't know this, the Hometown Hero program, although it is technically empty, every other Tuesday, they actually reopen the program back up for any of the fallout funds that have come from loans that didn't close or were canceled. And
Hmm.
you are allowed to use that money. So if you're already under contract and you would technically qualify for the Hometown Hero program, ask your lender. Like, make sure you get locked in and reserved. It's actually going to be a week from today that they open it back up.
Okay.
So a week from today, if there's
Oh, that's when
money,
they're starting it. Like,
it already happened. So
oh, okay.
September 5th was the first time,
Okay.
and it's been every other Tuesday.
Oh,
since
every other
then.
Tuesday. Okay.
Yes. So the funds have gotten smaller and smaller, but there's been money each time.
Oh, wow.
So I've been like trying to tell my realtors and other clients that I know we're looking for it, like, hey, we might be able to play this in your favor. This can happen, you know? So all that to say, those are just some options. I mean, obviously I would love to have a conversation
Yeah.
with anyone who might think that they could qualify for these programs. Because you don't know what you don't know. So it's better just to ask.
Yeah. Yeah. Like she said, I mean, with these programs, they help with down payment assistance. And then where I come in with my experience lately, I mean, sellers are eager. It's not like it was the last couple years where if you liked a home, offer whatever you're comfortable with and, just cross your fingers with luck that you're going to get it. Or, you're submitting 10 offers, over and over and over just to get something. It's not like that anymore. Yes, if a home is priced at market value or below, we are seeing multiple offers, but because they're priced correctly. There's a lot of these homes that are not priced correctly, maybe even just by 5 or 10,000, but that makes a big difference to make it sit. So these sellers are eager. It's been sitting on the market for 30 plus days. So they're ready to negotiate, whether that means, hey, maybe you do have the funds for down payment or closing costs, but you want to work on your mortgage payment a little bit. We can negotiate that price off. I've been getting $30,000-$40,000 off list prices right now.
Yeah.
And that's huge on your mortgage payment. Or hey, maybe you're short on cash or you want to make sure that you have a little extra cushion in your pocket in case something does go wrong, because I don't know what it is. When you buy a home, something always happens, whether you need to get a new water heater or something breaks, something little, but it's nice to have that cushion. So either way, we can, negotiate closing cost assistance where the seller pays your closing costs or gives you some kind of contribution to that. Or you want to work on the interest rate.
Yep.
If you don't need negotiation off price or closing costs, we can have the seller give a concession to buy down your interest rate, which can also be helpful. So there are so many different ways to go about it. And it's just a matter of you working with an agent and a lender that is willing to work with you and make sure that you're getting the best deal possible and working every single outlet we possibly can. I hate to say it, but there are a lot of lenders and realtors that kind of just want to get a deal done and they don't care how it's done. They just want to get it to the closing table. But then there's people like us that are here to help, and we get excited to know that we're doing everything we can for you. So we just really wanted to make people understand that it's not to be scared of this market. This is a market to take advantage of. Yes, interest rates are a little bit scary, but you can always change that. That when the interest rates go down, you can refinance. So that's not something to get hung up on.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've been having this conversation with many people who are like, the prices are too high and the rates are too high. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, here's the reality. This is the market we're in. If you can afford the monthly payment with where rates are, you should buy, because the reality is, if you keep waiting, rates are going to go down. Guess what's going to happen?
All those buyers waiting.
All those buyers on the sidelines, here they come because they can qualify again. And then we're back in 2021 where everybody is throwing spaghetti at a wall, trying to get their offer accepted. There's multiple offers, 10, 12, 13. I think I had clients who were the 17th offer on a property back in 2021.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then guess what? The sellers will take highest and best. So you're walking into a property where the price is now gouged with no equity.
You have to worry about appraisal, kind of having to come out of pocket.
Might have to come out of pocket, all for what? A 6% interest rate?
Yeah.
That you literally could refinance to if you had decided to buy a home now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I personally would rather walk into a home knowing that I'm either, if I'm not walking in with equity, because I have found a lot of my clients are actually walking in with equity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just because of how willing sellers are to negotiate their purchase prices and where homes are appraising, because our values are holding.
Yep.
So a lot of my people are walking in with equity, which I think is phenomenal, but I would be that person that would want to walk in with that equity with the 7.5%, 8% interest rate, rather than pay $50K over asking for a 6%.
Yeah. And most of that time, that $50K, if it doesn't appraise, you're coming out of pocket. Like that's just money you're honestly throwing in the trash.
Yeah.
Like buying now and knowing you have equity in, like that's another whole thing. Like that equity that you have walking into a home, you can pull that out. There's different ways to do that where
Yep.
you then can either use it to pay off debt, credit cards, student loans. You can use it to put on a down payment for another property. There's so much that this market is beneficial for.
Absolutely.
Just honestly making it more affordable. Like I feel like people are so stuck in the media. Like our house, there's no housing crisis. I don't know why everyone keeps thinking that, but it's because one person says it, the media says it, and everyone, it just continues to talk about that. And it's so false. Like this area, the real estate, there's no crisis in this area. Like you see the construction and all these new restaurants and everything popping up. Like it's going to continue to grow. You see the construction on the roads, you see the apartments going up. It's happening because we have so many people in this area.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's no crisis.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're 100% correct. And that's why what I was saying earlier, like who you surround yourself with and who you listen to, especially mainstream media, they don't always have it right.
Yeah.
And I have found that more times than not, what they're spewing is basically things that will grab people's attention.
Yeah.
Not actual true facts. And like, I'm sure that people are like, don't say that, but I'm just saying, I think it's a mindset thing.
It is. It absolutely is. I mean, just like the girl I realize I'm having this bickerment with on Facebook. I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, this is wasting my time. But it's also, I go look at her profile and I see what she's posting, the negative stuff she's posting. And just like, I'm like, your whole mindset is negative and everything. You just think that the whole world's out to get you when it's not.
Which that's the craziest thing to me. I'm like, when did hard work become so like such a
it's like so intimidating to people, like, oh, you're successful or whatever. It's like I like, when she's criticizing, I'm like, girl, you have no idea what I've been through or what I've had to do.
Know me.
But it's just, I feel like when people surround themselves with negative like stuff in their head, like when I saw on her Facebook, I was like, what? No, this is what I'm arguing with? Absolutely not.
Right.
And then if all your friends around you are sitting in that pity party and sulking and we're never going to be able to afford anything and just, sorry, half-ass doing things, then
right,
you're never going to, your whole mindset is there. Your whole life is going to be in that negative mindset.
right.
It's just like, we all have the same opportunity and there are ways to get there. There are people that would like to help you get there. So
yeah, like us.
Yeah, honestly, I never thought that I would be able to buy a home, and then I did. It was like I had even when I was literally up until the day I closed, I thought it was going to fall through at any moment. I was like, I'm just holding on to hope right now.
Oh, someone help me.
Every week, my lender would call me like, hey, yeah, so, and I'm like, just tell me. I had to get an extension, then I had to end up giving the seller part of my commission back in order for me to get to the closing table. But I loved the home so much. I was willing to do what I could, but it's never easy. It's never a walk in the park,
No.
When you're trying to buy a home, but it's worth it in the end. And
yeah, I mean, I feel like my personal story, I should share that. Cause you know what? That's so true. I didn't think I was going to be able to buy a home either. I ended up buying in 2020, which, as we know, was, interest rates were low. Well, I was able to qualify for something. Yay. It was a horrible process also. Back and forth, qualified, not, yada, yada, good times. But all of that to say, that home, I actually was able to build so much equity on it in the almost 2 years that I owned it, that I actually pulled money from it. I did a cash out refinance. I paid off my car. I paid off some credit cards that I had. I paid off a lot of debt, which was incredible because the reality was it made sense for me to do that. And that home, then when I sold it in March, it has allowed me to have a nest egg to be able to purchase my next property. And so without that initial step of home ownership, I would not be sitting here. Well, I would still be sitting here today, but I would not be sitting here telling you that I'm about to purchase my next property. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't think people understand how amazing home ownership is for a million different reasons. But you truly do build wealth in that equity that helps propel you forward in life. I would never probably have climbed out of debt the way that I did by choosing to purchase when I did.
Yeah. And so I bought back at the same time, but even back then was when it was COVID and no one knew it was going to happen. Everyone said that we were about to have a crash and people were afraid to buy then too, And for me, it was like, I just wanted to be a homeowner so badly. Like, I worked so hard at that point. I was like, I am not going to let this scare me.
Yeah.
I'm going with my gut feeling. I'm just doing it. You just have to do it, And I was like, I'm just doing it. Like,
No, it's good.
and me, like, I bought my home and I've built equity in my home too. And it's
Yeah,
wonderful,
it's so good. You can do so many things. Like, you could pull it out.
Yeah.
You could buy an investment property if you want. You could do whatever you want.
So, and that's possible still today. So,
Exactly. I guess the point to, well, my point to my story, I think both of us, is that making that decision for ourselves was one of the best things that we ever could do to set ourselves up for success where we are now. And yes, we never know where the market's going to be. I saw someone post something the other day that was the best time to buy a house was 5 years ago. Because if you continue waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, you're literally always going to find a reason not to buy.
Oh, always.
So
when we bought it was, oh God, it's COVID. We don't know what's happening with the world. And then it was, oh, the interest rates are low. We should buy, but now we're in a bidding war. I don't want to buy now because I don't want to compete with other people.
Right.
And then now it's, well, now prices are too high and interest rates are high. Like, when are you waiting for? Because I guarantee 3-4 years from now, people are going to say, or even 2 years from now, a year from now, they're going to be like, crap, I should have did that last year.
And then,
like, there's never going to be a right time if you don't make it a right time, because you will always find an excuse not to do it.
Exactly. And honestly, take advantage of the buyer's market that's going on right now, because these sellers are wanting to sell their homes to you and they're willing to negotiate. That's my favorite type of, well, I mean, that's obviously my favorite type of market because I want to buy. Yeah. But I also love it for my buyers because there's so much more wiggle room.
I love this type of market. Yes, the interest rates I hate, but I love the part of negotiating. I like knowing that I'm doing something. The COVID or the low interest rate debacle, I personally hated it because I'm like, well, what am I doing to help you besides making sure we're meeting deadlines and stuff like that? I'm not able to negotiate for you. I'm not able to get inspection things fixed. Like, I felt helpless. And now it's like, I know that I can either get, money off the price. I can get, inspection things fixed. I can get rates bought down. I can get closing costs paid. Like, now I'm able to assist you. And, it's just, it's great.
So let us help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
With that being said, come.
Yes, come. But yeah, I think that's really all we had.
It's just wanted to be on our soapbox today because I'm sad hearing so many people think that, like, homeownership dream is dead and that they can't afford it. Like, we can, and maybe it isn't your time, but let's talk about it and make a plan. Exactly, because the homeownership dream is not dead.
Agreed.
Do you remember, and sorry, we can end on this, but do you remember when one of our first episodes that we did, I was talking about a girl that I spoke to on Facebook who said she'd been through to a ton of lenders, she couldn't get qualified, and that she said the homeownership dream was dead. I just wanted to report back that she finally got qualified for a mortgage.
Awesome.
Yes. And I did offer to help, but she said that one of her good friends was already doing it, obviously. But yes, so she's buying a new construction home. So
that's awesome.
Just so you know, dream is not dead. It's all about who you work with and your grit.
And that's another thing I wanted, now that she just pointed on that, another conversation was having with my little chat box today on Facebook. Another girl was then arguing, saying, I was like, just talk to someone. She goes, well, tell the banks that, because they said I can't qualify. A bank does not equal a mortgage broker. I'm not like trashing on banks, but they have very fine rules and guidelines that they have to follow. They're not able to be as flexible as if you were to go with a mortgage broker like Alex, that works with different lenders that are able to kind of tweak things if they need to or feel more comfortable. Like, when I qualified for a mortgage, honestly, my credit was crap because I was in a very crappy relationship that really ruined my credit. But my cash that I had in the bank, the lender was like, I'm going to make an exception because I feel comfortable with, what she has as far as assets in the bank. So it was like, there's ways that people are able to tweak stuff if they feel comfortable. So again, like, just because one person tells you no, don't take no as an answer. Go to this next person, go to 3 or 4 people.
Right.
You'll always get a different answer. So
it's true. And I think the answer no is, I don't love the answer no. I just love the not right now.
Yeah.
Because I really do enjoy telling people, okay, like this is what we need to work on. And whether or not, and here's the true thing, I've had people shop me because of that. I've spent a lot of time sitting down, looking through things and telling them things they don't want to hear. And then they end up going somewhere else. And I'm like, that's okay. If you need a
Yeah.
second opinion, you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be different, but
Yeah.
but things like that, like even those people are like, well, I don't like the answer no, not right now. I'm going to go find someone that will do it now. And it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? I like your grit. I actually appreciate you for double
Mm-hmm.
checking me.
Yep.
But all of that to say, like, the blueprint is where it's at. And
Yeah.
so even if you can't do it now, well, let's figure out when we can do it and how we can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Set a goal.
Set a goal. I love that.
But yeah, cool. All right. Well, if you guys have further questions, you can email us at Real Talk Real Life Real Estate. If you're watching this on YouTube, I do have all of our social links on there, so you can connect with us on social media. But any questions, even if you have a question that you want answered, email it to us, or even if you have questions about purchasing or need assistance,
Yeah.
email us.
Absolutely.
So, and on YouTube, I do put our phone numbers on there as well. So,
text us, call
yeah.
us.
Yep. So,
cool.
All right, guys. We will
Thanks,
see you next
guys.
time. Have a great day.
Till next time. Bye.